I think that puts a stamp on it, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to consider David the Mexican Monster Benavidez as a top 3 pound for pound. If not top 3, guaranteed top 5, taking Dmitry Bivol's spot on the pound for pound rankings at number 5. Best fighters in the world. The hand speed, the ring IQ, the defense, the head movement, the catch and shoot. David Benavidez is on a whole different level, ladies and gentlemen. The first boxer ever in the history of boxing to become a super middleweight champion, 168 pounds, 175-pound light heavyweight champion, and now, with a weight limit of 200 pounds, a cruiserweight, unified, WBO, WBA champion of the world, finishing Zurdo Ramirez in round 6. A barrage of punches, the flurries, the hand speed was just absolutely ridiculous. He catches Zurdo Ramirez with a big left hook in like a 6-7 punch combination. Zurdo falls to his knees and gives up. The pain, the eye was shut. And I believe he broke his bone, ladies and gentlemen. He might have broke his skull, one of the hardest bones in the body. He might have detached his rectum. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. As Zurdo Ramirez is heading to the hospital. But what David Benavidez just did to him, bro, I'm telling you guys right now, Canelo Alvarez, who David Benavidez called out, I think we could put a stamp on it. There is no way Canelo is ever stepping into the ring with a David Benavidez. He just ain't. It ain't happening, especially with David saying he could come up to 175 pounds. Psych. The dude wanted to fight Oslis Iglesias at 168. You think he's going to move to 175 and fight David Benavidez? That fight is history. It is never going to happen. There was years of opportunities for Canelo to make it happen. When David wanted to fight, forget about it. Ducked. David Benavidez moved up to 175 pounds. Was mandated to take on Dmitry Bivol. And you can say what you want about his back injury. Yes, he had it for a long time. He chose to have it right when they decided to mandate this fight. You could call it a duck or not. But at the end of the day, Dmitry Bivol has a choice coming up. After his fight that's taking place in Russia against Michael Eifert. And depending on what Turki Al-Sheikh wants. Because Eddie Hearn came out and explained that David Benavidez, of course, that's the #1 fight that he wants. He wants Dmitry Bivol. And they're in talks right now. But the problem is that, you know, Bivol might want a trilogy fight with Arthur Beterbiev. And so does Turki Al-Sheikh. Remember, Turki Al-Sheikh didn't even want to get involved in a purse bid between Dmitry Bivol and David Benavidez because he wanted the trilogy fight with Arthur Beterbiev. So, Eddie Hearn says, leading up to this fight with David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez, if Turki Al-Sheikh ends up calling upon that fight, then that's what's going to happen. But if not, then David Benavidez could be next for Dmitry Bivol. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think Dmitry Bivol's going to want that. I could see him heading the trilogy route now. Based off of watching the performance that David Benavidez gave us, he's a goddamn problem for anybody. I don't see anybody being able to beat him at 168 pounds. 175 pounds. We could forget about the 168-pound division. Ain't nobody could beat him at 175 pounds. And ain't nobody could beat him with a weight limit of 200 pounds in the cruiserweight division. That's going to take a goddamn heavyweight to be able to beat the likes of David Benavidez and Not just any heavyweight. I was literally thinking, I even told my girl's grandpa while we were watching the fights, I said, hey, could you imagine if David Benavidez with that type of hand speed, that type of defense, have a little bit of time to gain some weight, but move up to the heavyweight division and take on somebody like Deontay Wilder? Would David Benavidez have a chance? Bro, I'm telling you right now, I would not. I would think I think David Benavidez had a good chance of beating Deontay Wilder just based off of the speed and the ring IQ. Now, don't get me wrong. If he gets hit with one of those bronze bomber right hands when he was in his prime, a little bit different. Right now, he's a lot slower, a lot more sloppier. And, you know, in that last fight against Derek Chisora, just his right hand power just not looking the same anymore, ladies and gentlemen. It's such an interesting topic because how did we get to the heavyweight division when you start talking about people who could beat David Benavidez? It's because he's that goddamn dominant. I don't think Dimitri Bivol could beat David Benavidez. I would love to see Arthur Beterbiev versus David Benavidez. Arthur Beterbiev versus David would be an absolute style clash up, man. My goodness, would that be an absolute barn burner of two highly skilled fighters. I still think David Benavidez beats him. I think what we're witnessing with David Benavidez is one of the greatest fighters of our era. And possibly, if he continues, if he goes on and beats the likes of Dimitri Bivol, former undisputed 175-pound champion, a fighter who defeated Canelo Alvarez, if he goes on and beats Arthur Beterbiev, he just beat Zurdo Ramirez, if he goes on someday back to cruiserweight division and beats Jairo Pataya and goes to the heavyweight division and wins a fight there, he could be considered one of the greatest of all time. I know that's a crazy take to make. I think he deserves to be in the top 5 pound-for-pound rankings. I'm going to be honest with you. Naoya Inoue had a great performance against Junto Nakatani. Junto Nakatani decided not to show up to the fight until the 8th round. Sad to see. Biggest opportunity of his career, just threw it away. But Inoue did what he had to do. That's 3 straight decision wins. If he moves up to 126 pounds, I don't know if we're ever going to see a knockout again from Inoue. With David Benavidez continuing to rev up the engine like this, with Shakur Stevenson and Alexander Usyk up there, I would consider him in that 4 round right there. Alexander Usyk, Shakur Stevenson. Your boy has to be there with David Benavidez and the monster Inoue. Honestly, that's my take. But let me know what you guys thought, man. David Benavidez, absolutely fantastic. Mike Tyson walked out with him. It was a fantastic card. You had Ryan Garcia there dressed like Michael Jackson. Man, dude, history in the making. Every single goddamn fight was a barn burner. Ridiculous. My goodness, man. I'm out.